Hey all, welcome to Homeschool, and today we are with a wonderful chapter called Elements, Compounds and Mixture. This is a third chapter of ICSE Class 8. And if you keep the type of a syllabus and what class etc. aside, say this fundamental chapter is very important to understand to study further aspects of chemistry. So there are certain terms which we continuously use it in chemistry. They are the term called element, compound and mixture, right? And it is very important and it's very much essential to understand the meanings of these terms completely, very clearly, right? So let us start studying about this particular chapter in detail. See, our previous chapter was about matter, physical state of matter, chemical state of matter, etc. Right? So you all are very well aware of the term called matter. So what is a matter? Let us try to revise it once again. Matter is anything in the universe that has a mass and that can occupy a certain space in the universe, isn't it? Say, I can say we human beings are matter, this marker is a matter, board is a matter, everything we see around is a matter actually, right? So everything has little mass, right? If I keep certain substances like the substances which are there around us on a weighing machine, definitely it will show some weight, right? And they will occupy certain space in the universe. So definitely these things are called as matter, right? And in the first chapter, we also studied the matter can be classified into three types, right? One was solid, liquid, and gases. And we also studied detailed aspects of the physical characters of solids, physical characters of liquids, and physical characters of gases. See, if you want detailed things about the matter, you can go to the description box and we have given a link there. Just click the link and watch all the videos on a matter. Get perfect with the concept, right? So entire things we studied. So mainly classification of matter we studied. Matter was classified into solids, liquid, gases. This is what we know. But matter is also classified into two types. One is pure substance, the other one is mixture. Clear? So first let us try to understand this concept, guys. Okay. So what did I just tell you? Classification of matter. So I am talking about classification of matter. Say in different ways we can classify matter. If you take a physical state of a matter, we can classify matter into solids, liquid and gases. But on another basis, we have another classification of matter, right? So this particular matter is mainly classified into two types. One is pure substance, clear? And the other one is mixture. And this pure substance is again classified into two types. One is element, the other one is compound. Got it? And now this element is again further classified into four types. First variety we call it as metals. Second variety is non-metals. And the third one is metalloids. And finally, the last variety is noble gases. Noble gases. Clear, everybody? Fine. And coming to the mixture. Mixture is again classified into two types. One is homogeneous mixture. The other type of mixture is heterogeneous mixture. Right? So this is what we classify matter into these things. So matter is mainly classified into two main types. One is pure substance, the other one is mixture. Pure substance is again classified into element compound. Mixture is again classified into homogeneous mixture, heterogeneous mixture. See, the entire chapter is about studying these things. So we will study what is the meaning of pure substance, what are its characteristics, and we will also study about the element and compound in detail. Later we will go for studying what is the meaning of mixture, when do you call something as a mixture, right? And what is the meaning of the term homogeneous, what is the meaning of the term heterogeneous, right? And how many kinds of mixtures are there, on what basis again we have different types of mixtures. And mixture in the sense, say in a common language you can understand that when two substances are mixed together, we call it as a mixture, right? So even in chemistry, that is what the meaning. When two substances are mixed, that's what we call mixture. So if you want to separate the components of a mixture, we have different techniques. We have different separating techniques. All of them we are going to study in the chapter, right? So initially, in this video, let us try to complete about this part of the classification. We will study now the meaning of the word pure substance. Let us understand detailed things about element, compound, what are their characteristics and everything, right? And in the next video, we will study about the mixture. Right? So what do you mean by homogeneous, heterogeneous, different kinds of mixture, and how we can separate the components of a mixture, everything we will discuss. Right? So quickly, let us go for the term pure substance. Coming to the word pure substance. Can you tell me in a common language, every day we keep using this word pure substance, this is pure milk, pure ghee, pure honey, right? Say for example, we say the milk, the moment we see a thick milk, the fresh milk, normally we say this is a pure milk, isn't it? Say, is the milk really pure? For a common people, it may be a pure milk, it's a pure substance. But for a chemist, it is never a pure substance. Milk is not a pure substance. Or when you get honey right from a honeybee comb, we normally say it's a pure honey. But for a chemist, it is not a pure substance. So, if I can tell as a chemist, the milk has so many substances in it. It has so-called protein. Protein is one chemical substance. It has so-called fat. Fat is again a chemical substance, right? And you can see oil droplets on a milk. So that's a fat. Fat is a chemical substance, right? Milk protein is a chemical substance. It has a water content. So that water is a chemical substance. See, when I combine this water content, milk protein and milk fat, then it becomes a milk. Right? Say so many chemical substances are involved. They have combined and you have a milk. So for a chemist, milk is never a pure substance. Milk is actually a mixture because it has so many varieties of chemical components. Right? Protein is one chemical component, fat is one chemical, water is one chemical. So definitely milk is a mixture. It is not a pure substance as far as chemistry is concerned. Clear? So now, what actually is a pure substance for a chemist? See, pure substance is a homogeneous material. It is homogeneous material, okay, which contain, definitely you should understand the in-depth meaning here, which contain particles of one kind. Particles of one kind. Clear? And has a set of properties. Has a set of properties. is called pure substance. So it's a homogeneous material. So what do you mean by homogeneous material? Okay, let us try to understand the meaning of the word homogeneous little later. And one more thing I would like to concentrate here is, see, the pure substance is made up of only one kind of a particle. Say for example, if I take a silver piece, Ag in the sense what? Silver. Or if I take some iron piece, Fe, that is iron piece, say this is our silver piece, right? So this silver piece, I can call it as a pure substance because this particular silver piece contain, small particles, and all these particles look same. They have same properties. Right? So these particles are normally, it can be atoms or it can be molecules. Clear everybody? So pure substance is such a substance which contains same type of particles. Say I said milk. See, milk has, imagine three components. One is water, the other one is protein, the other one is fat. Fat is a different chemical from protein. Protein is a different chemical from water, right? Completely different chemicals they are. But pure substance is not like that. It is that particular substance which is made up of same type of particles. So what do you mean by particles here? Particles can be an atom or particles can be a molecule, right? So such a substance is called, pure substance. For example, silver piece, iron piece, okay, gold piece, pure gold piece. When gold has only gold atoms, it can be called as a pure substance. When silver piece has only silver atoms, the same type of particles, it can be called as a pure substance. When iron piece has only iron atoms, it can be called as, pure substance, right? So homogeneous, what do you mean by the term homogeneous? Say for example, this much is your silver piece, okay? Say on the surface of a piece also you have silver atoms only. Onto a side of a piece also you will have silver atoms only. And inside a piece, say a silver piece is there in the form of a cube, right? Say this is one surface. Here also you will find silver atoms spread uniformly. Okay, you don't find more silver atoms on a surface and less silver atoms on another surface. Say this is another surface of a piece, you think. Okay, it's not that you have more silver atoms in this area and less silver atoms in this area, right? Say this is not, you observe here. Whatever the surface you take this surface or this surface or this surface or this surface or front or back, whatever, inside or outside, everywhere you find silver atoms arranged uniformly. Okay, so everywhere you see a particular arrangement. Everywhere you see silver atoms only. It's not that on one side you have more atoms or another side you have less atoms. You don't find that situation. Everywhere silver atoms are only uniformly spread. Okay, so that is what we mean by homogeneous. Okay, so pure substance is homogeneous material which contain particles of one kind and has a set of properties. Definitely silver has its own properties, gold has its own properties, iron has its own properties, right? Because of the particles present, they show a different properties. Say silver can be used as ornament, iron can be used for different purposes, right? For the construction iron is used and lots of uses are there for iron, right? So every pure substance has its own properties, its own uses, right? So this is a basic idea about a pure substance. And here I told you pure substance substance contain particles of only one kind, I said. So if you take a silver piece, everywhere silver atoms are only there, I said, right? But another example for pure substance I'll give you here, that is water. Say in a beaker, if I take only water, right? Water is nothing but H2O. What's its chemical formula? H2O. Say this also I can call it as pure substance. Pure substance. Okay. See, water is a molecule. So when I take a pure water in a beaker, say everywhere you have H2O. Here also H2O. Here also H2O. Here also H2O. Here also H2O. Okay. But water itself, if I take a single molecule of water, it is not made up of same type of atoms. It is not made up of same type of particles, right? It is made up of two types of particles. It is made up of two types of particles. One is hydrogen and another one is oxygen. Isn't it? But still, a beaker of water, I will call it as a pure substance. You actually have another definition for a pure substance. Okay, say, let me write that particular definition here. If two particles combine in a fixed ratio by number or weight, okay, then also we will call it as pure substance. See here, the two particles, one is oxygen, the other one is hydrogen. They have not combined however they want. They have combined in a fixed ratio. What do you mean by fixed ratio? See here, always when two atoms of hydrogen combine with one atom of oxygen, then only water can be formed here. Right? Say water means two atoms of hydrogen must combine with one atom of oxygen here. Right? See, this is what we mean by combining in a fixed ratio by number or mass. Say always two number of hydrogen atoms combine with one number of oxygen. This is what we mean by fixed ratio. So here, what is the ratio here? 2:1. That means two atoms of hydrogen combined with one atom of oxygen. So water, hydrogen and oxygen has combined in this ratio. Right? So if I take a beaker of water, everywhere water only is there. Nothing else is there. So now I consider water as one particle here. Anyway, if you go in deep, water itself has two particles but have combined in a fixed ratio. Right? So many water molecules are only there in a beaker. So I can say this is also a pure substance only. Right? So like this, see NaCl, when I take a salt, that is also pure substance, but NaCl, Na is one type of a chemical, Cl is one type of a chemical, but combined in a fixed ratio. Okay, so when I take a plate full of NaCl, if it's a pure NaCl, I can say only when NaCl is there, I can say it's a pure substance. Clear? So this is another meaning for a pure substance. So there are two definitions for pure substance actually. Say homogeneous material is common, which contain particles of same kind. If it contains particles of same kind, say if you take a silver piece, it has only silver atoms all over, uniformly spread. So this particular pure substance, it is actually called as elements. So when pure substance has only one type of a particle, such a pure substance is called element, right? And there is another meaning for pure substance. Say pure substance can be said as pure when if two particles combine in a fixed ratio by number. Say for example, water can also be a pure substance, though it has two different particles, one is hydrogen and oxygen, but they are combining in a fixed ratio and only H2O, so many crores of H2Os are there together, then in that case also we can say that particular substance is pure, right? Similarly, H2O is one example, NaCl is one example, right? So such a pure substance is actually called as compound. So I told you pure substance is again divided into two types, isn't it? One is element, the other one is compound. So what is element here? When a pure substance has a single kind of a particle all over which is spread uniformly, then it is called element. If a pure substance has two different particles, but if those two different particles have combined in a fixed ratio and if that is spread uniformly all over, then that is also called as pure substance, and that is called, what variety? It is called as compound. Yeah. And now let us try to list out the characteristics of pure substance, and later we will go for studying about the element. If you have to list out the characteristics of pure substance, first and foremost, I would like to write, pure substance is always homogeneous in nature. Homogeneous in nature. I told you the meaning of the homogeneous, right? Say whether it is made up of one type of particle or it may be made up of two types of particles in a fixed ratio. These particles are spread uniformly in a structure. Say one side you have more particles, the other side of a block you have less particles. This concept you don't observe. Whichever the side of a piece or a substance, you find the same type of particles. Okay, arranged uniformly, spread uniformly throughout the surface. This is what the meaning of the term homogeneous. And the next point I would like to tell here is pure substance has a set of properties. Set of properties. Each and every pure substance has its own properties. Say if you take water, water has its own properties. If you take NaCl, it has its own properties. If you take iron base, it has its own properties. And the properties completely depends on what particles are there in a substance, right? Say this is what another important point you have to remember. And the third point is the properties of two pure substances are always different. Properties of two pure substances are different. So what do you mean by this point? Say for example, I have Fe as one pure substance. I have another pure substance like water. Can the properties of iron be similar with the properties of water? Never, right? See, water is a liquid, iron is a solid. Say there are many properties of iron which is entirely different from water. So when you take two pure substances, their properties are not same, they are entirely different, right? So this is what the meaning of this line. And the next and important thing is components. Components, or it may be particles, I can also say it as particles, cannot be separated. It cannot be separated by physical methods. By physical methods. Okay. Say for example, this is your iron piece. Say this iron piece is made up of same type of particles. They are called iron atoms. If I have to separate one iron atom, these are my particles here. Okay, if I want to separate this iron atom from this iron atom just with the help of my hands, just with the help of certain physical methods, it is never possible. Clear everybody? It is impossible thing to separate the particles of pure substance by physical methods. Say you have a water, beaker of water. Here you have an H2O. Everywhere there are H2Os. Crores of H2Os are there, right? And if I want to separate one H2O from other, is it possible? Can you be able to think of this? Just with the help of a hand, if I have to separate one H2O from another, it's impossible, right? So this is what the meaning of this sentence. Components or nothing but particles here cannot be separated by physical methods. So these are the 4 characteristics of the pure substances that you have to remember, right? And now we will go for the different types of pure substances, that is element and compound. Let us see what do you mean by that element. Look everyone here. Element is that pure substance. Definitely it's a pure substance which is made up of same kind of particles, isn't it? We discussed already. Same kind of particles. These particles are actually called as atoms here. Try to remember the word atom. So element is a pure substance which is made up of only one kind of particles, and these particles are called atoms. Okay, and these atoms cannot be divided further. So such a pure substance is called element. Clear everybody? Say for example, iron is one element, copper is another element, right? Gold is an element, silver is an element. So if I take one piece of iron, it will have crores and crores of particles. All these particles are same. This is one iron atom, this is another iron atom, this is the third iron atom. All these look similar, guys. So I said element is the one which is made up of same type of particles. Clear? So, it's a homogeneous substance. And all these particles are uniformly spread in a structure. They are not present however they want. Say in some block of a piece you have more atoms, or in some block of a piece you have less atoms. You don't observe that. It's not that concept. In all the parts of a piece you have iron atoms uniformly, equally spread throughout the surface, throughout the structure. So that's why I say element is homogeneous in nature. Yeah. And another point is, chemists have discovered 118 elements present in our nature. So right now there are 118 elements. Among these 118 elements, 82 elements are normal. They are called normal elements, and 36 elements are radioactive elements. Radioactive elements. Okay. So what do you mean by radioactive elements? They liberate harmful radiations in nature. They liberate harmful radiations, guys. Right? So 82 elements are normal elements. Normal elements do not give harmful radiations. They do not give harmful radiations. This is what important point one has to remember. And all these 118 elements have been beautifully arranged in a so-called periodic table. Yeah, so you can see the picture of periodic table. You will find all 118 elements in a nature beautifully arranged in a table. So usually when these elements combine with one another, you will get new substances, new molecules, new compounds, etc. Clear everybody? Okay. What I just told you, when these elements combine, say for example, hydrogen is one element. When it combines with oxygen in a particular ratio, you will get water, isn't it? Elements combine in the sense what? Atoms which are present in the element is combining. Clear everybody? Say you have Na as one element. Cl is another element. When sodium combines with chlorine element, you will get a compound called NaCl. This is also a pure substance. This is also a pure substance later. Right? So here elements combining in the sense what? Element has so many atoms, right? Element is made up of same kind of particles. These are called atoms. So atoms of sodium is combining with atoms of chlorine. So here the meaning is same, guys. Element combines or atoms combine. You know, these meanings are same. So when element combine or atoms combine, you get new chemical substances. Those chemical substances can again be a pure substance or a mixture, whatever it may be. Clear everybody? So this is what about the element. Right? So now let us try to write the characteristics of element. So one is the definition itself says its characteristics made up of so-called atoms, right? And the next point you have to remember is this. And the other thing is the particles. So what particles are there in an element? You call that particle as atoms. Okay, so the particles or atoms of an element cannot be separated by physical methods. Cannot be separated by physical methods. This is a very important point. Already I said this during pure substance. Say you have, this is a sodium piece. Imagine these are sodium atoms. If you want to separate one atom from another atom, it's not possible, right? If you want to pick that with your hand, if you want to separate the atoms with your hand, physical methods in the sense what? By mechanical methods. Okay, so it's not possible. That is what the meaning of this point. And after that, elements are again divided into metals, non-metals, metalloids and noble gases. Say you have seen the picture of periodic table, right? So among these 118 elements, some are called as metals. They have one set of properties. Say the elements which are called as metals generally conduct electricity. Like, the examples for metal is copper, iron, these guys conduct electricity, right? So such elements are called metals. Say the non-metals, say for example carbon, sulfur, say these are called non-metals. They have one set of properties. For example, they do not conduct electricity. Metalloids, metalloids have the properties of metals and non-metals. Okay, they have the properties in between metals and non-metals. That's why they are called metalloids. And you have certain gases called noble gases. For example, helium, argon, neon. They are highly stable gases in our nature. Stable in the sense state of happiness. These guys do not react with any chemical substance. They are very much passive. They are very much happy with whatever they have. Right? So such gases are called noble gases. So you have seen a periodic table, right? So all these 118 elements are divided into these four types. So about their properties, about their characteristics, you will study in higher classes. Now it is not required, right? So this is another point you have to remember. And next thing is different elements. Different elements have different properties. Have different properties. Some properties may be similar, but most of the properties would be different. Say for example, I have an element sodium, I have another element iron. The properties of sodium are different, the properties of iron is different. You know, you can't hold the sodium piece in your hand, right? You can't expose the sodium piece to the water or air. If you expose the sodium to water or air, it will burst. You know, it will catch fire. But iron, you can expose it to air, you can expose it to water, you can hold iron in on your palm, you can hold with your hand, you can touch it, you can do everything with iron. Okay, but you can't do those things with sodium. See, the properties of sodium element is completely different from the properties of iron, right? So this is what the meaning of this particular sentence. So different elements actually have different properties. Clear? Fine. And the very important point is, you know, elements are homogeneous in nature. We know this point, right? Homogeneous in nature. So that means the particles which are present in the element are uniformly spread all over the surface, right? So this is what the meaning of this sentence. So these are the characters of the element. And now let us try to understand about the compound. Here, compound is another pure substance. It is also a pure substance, but it is made up of, you know, not a same kind of particles. It is made up of two or more different elements, two or more different particles. I can say particles. So what are the particles here? Particles can be elements or atoms, right? So these particles or these elements, when they combine, you get a compound. How do they combine? They actually combine chemically. Okay, so what I can write here is these particles are nothing but elements or atoms. Elements contain atoms. Atoms only will finally combine. Okay, so elements combining or atoms combining is one and the same. This has to be fixed in your mind. Yeah, fine. So these particles combine chemically in a fixed proportion. In a fixed proportion. Clear? This is what we mean by compound. Say for example, what are the examples I can give? H2O is a compound. Example for pure substance. NaCl is another compound. Calcium carbonate is another compound. Right? Say in a beaker, when I take H2O, water. So everywhere water is there. Here water is there. Here bottom water is there. In the middle of the beaker water is there. Everywhere water only is there. That's why I'll call it as pure substance. But if you take each particle, you know, in this H2O, there are two hydrogen atoms combined with one oxygen atom, right? And it is not combined in however the way it want. You know, only when two atoms combine with one atom of oxygen, you get water. Only when hydrogen and oxygen combine in 2:1 ratio, you get water. Only, say for example, if one hydrogen combines with one oxygen, what do you get? You get just H2O. It is not called as water. But when they combine in 2:1 ratio, it is called as water. So when these elements are combining, you know, they will combine in a fixed proportion or fixed ratio. That's a very important thing to understand. Yeah. Say you see another compound, calcium carbonate. Here, can you tell me how many different types of elements are there? One is calcium, the other one is carbon, the other one is oxygen. Right? Say when one calcium element, one calcium atom combines with one carbon atom, and when they combine with three oxygen atoms, you get CaCO3. That is calcium carbonate, marble stone. Whatever marble stone you see, that's nothing but calcium carbonate. Right? So this is how the compounds are formed. But there are certain characteristics that you have to remember. These characteristics are very, very important. Try to understand. The very first character I'll write here is the compound is also homogeneous in nature. Right? It is also homogeneous in nature. And the next point is, the elements or atoms of compound cannot be separated by physical methods. Okay, say just with the help of your hand, if you want to separate hydrogen from oxygen, it's not possible. If you want to separate calcium from carbon, it's not possible. Right? Say the elements or the atoms, whatever is there in a compound, you cannot separate that easily by physical methods or mechanical methods. Okay, but you can separate them by chemical methods. We can separate the atoms or elements of compound chemically. Okay, say for example, when you pass electricity to water, H2O will break down into hydrogen and oxygen. You get hydrogen separately, oxygen separately. Right? But when you pass electricity, right, say there is happening a kind of chemical reaction when you pass electricity. Say that reaction is responsible for the separation of elements or atoms. So this is what the meaning of the sentence. Just by the physical methods, manually or mechanically, if you want to separate hydrogen from oxygen, it's impossible. But by doing certain chemical reaction with the help of electricity or with the help of heating or whatever, okay, say you can separate the atoms or elements which are present in a compound. Clear, everybody? So this is one important point you need to understand. The next point is properties of compound is very much different. This point you have to understand carefully. Is very much different from the properties of individual constituents present in a compound. So what do you mean by this point? Say I take water. Water has certain properties, right? Definitely water has certain properties. Water is actually liquid, and water is used for various purposes. Water can undergo different types of chemical reactions. So those are the properties of water. And water is actually made up of two elements, right? One is hydrogen, other one is oxygen. Properties of hydrogen is very much different. Hydrogen is a gas. Properties of oxygen is very much different. Oxygen is also a gas. It has a different properties. It actually helps for the combustion and all. It has a different chemical reactions. Hydrogen has a different chemical reaction. But when they both combine in a certain ratio, you are getting a compound water which is showing very different properties compared to the properties of hydrogen and oxygen. Right? So this is what the meaning of this point. So once again, try to understand properties of compound is very different from the properties of individual constituents present in a compound. Constituents means what, guys? Elements or atoms only. Okay, see, water has completely a different set of properties compared to the properties of hydrogen and oxygen. So this is a very important point. And another point you have to remember, that is energy. Energy is released or absorbed when a compound forms from the constituent atoms or elements. Right? So this is a very depth sentence actually. Normally, say, whenever hydrogen combines with water, you all know water is getting formed. When two hydrogen atoms combine with oxygen, you will get water. You know, whenever this chemical process when hydrogen combines with oxygen, means it's a chemical process. Something is happening between hydrogen and oxygen, yeah. Some attractions are getting created between hydrogen and oxygen. That's the reason hydrogen and oxygen is staying together. We cannot separate them that easily, and we call it as water. Right? What attractive force is actually holding this hydrogen and oxygen? That attractive force is actually created during a chemical reaction. Say when a compound is getting formed, sometimes energy, here energy is nothing but heat. So here, what do you mean by energy? Energy is nothing but heat. Clear? Say whenever a compound is formed, sometimes heat will come out during such chemical reactions, or sometimes to form a compound, heat must be supplied from outside. Okay, some chemical substances are difficult to form, right? Some that point of time you have to supply heat from outside, then the element may combine, you get a compound. But there is another situation. What is that? They can easily combine. The moment they come closer together, that point of time heat is always liberated, heat is always released. Okay, so there is energy associated when a compound is formed from atoms or elements, different atoms or elements. Clear? So these are the 5 characteristics of a compound, right? So this particular point is very important. This point is important and this point is important, right? So that's all about a compound. So now you got to know the meaning, the detailed meaning of the terms element, compound and pure substance. So in my next class, let us discuss everything about mixtures. Till then, keep revising a concept. Please subscribe our channel to learn the concepts in the easiest way and in a detailed way. Thank you.